Hello, the Captain. Welcome back to Stormworks Basics Tutorial. It's going to be a oil drilling tutorial series, be a few videos. Going to show you the up-to-date methods after pressurization update. So a bunch of people have been having some issues, especially with fractioning diesel oil into diesel and jet fuel. And so we'll go through drilling. A couple things have changed with drilling, but we'll go through, do a fresh set of tutorials here on drilling and on pumping and refining. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the drilling points in the arid biome on the Meyer Island. So if we open this up, I turned on the world view, we've got one block. I'm just going to extend blocks all the way down to the bottom. And so one thing we're going to need for drilling here is we're going to need a table. So if we type in table, we have this oil rig rotary table. So we're going to click on that, and I'm going to set it up, and I want to put that torque node on the back, and we're going to go as low as we can and just click it right there. Next, I'm going to grab the select tool. We're going to cut it, and I want to put the hole in the center here in line with the blocks. That's going to make sure that the drill rod will attach to the wellhead. And so we're going to go, and one thing you can notice here is, if you notice, we have the green part, we have the red part. If I delete all the red part, the green part will now become the red part. So that is now our base. So I'm just going to grab some block here, and we're going to make a platform to stand on so we don't fall in the hole. There's our platform. I like to put a little bit of a wedge on here. That way we can just walk right up. We don't have to jump every time we want to get on this platform. That would save us a little bit of aggravation. And we'll put some corner pieces in as well to help facilitate with us just walking on board. So there's one there. All right, good. So we have the base plate done. I've tested a bunch of different designs. This is the design that I use on my main rig from my other tutorial. I'm going to use this again. There are some other methods. There are some cool new parts. I'll show you the new parts they've added since my last tutorial. This part here, the oil rig drill clamp end, this is pretty cool. This will only attach the end of one of these drill rods, and you can use a winch to bring it up and down. I do like this. It's cool. It's new. It's a little bit of a pain, so especially if you're a new player, I think the method I'm going to show you is a little bit better. And it's a little bit more foolproof. It is nice and interactive, so you're not just standing there doing nothing. Some people like to automate it quite a bit. I don't. I like to be a little bit more engaged. So the next thing we're going to do is going to grab an oil rig drill swivel. Now, I changed the method from my last tutorial on how I do this. Instead of building one platform that does everything, drills, pumps, and refines, what I like to do is I like to make a drilling platform, and the job of the drilling platform is only to drill. Then I have a pumping platform. The job of the pumping platform is to pump and refine. And the benefit of this system is, if you put all the parts in, it might cost, say, $60,000. Especially if you're a new player, it's going to be a little bit of time before you can get $60,000. This way, this rig might cost us, say, up to $30,000. And then the pumping rig might cost us $30,000. And so what we'll do is we'll drill, and then we'll despawn the drilling rig, and then we'll spawn in the pumping rig. And then we leave the pumping rig on there for that. So I put a swivel upside down here. Select tool is your friend. Grab the select tool, and you can do this however much spacing you like to do, but I like 4 blocks. So I'm going to put this right over the spot there to align it, and I'm going to go up 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is going to give us a little bit of a gap, and we'll just paste this, and this will float in the air. All right, next thing I want to do here is so this is going to be my bottom position. This is going to be as low as I can do. By doing it this way, it's going to help me align these in the correct position. All right, so the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to grab a linear track. I like these big linear tracks. They just have up, down. They're a little bit stronger and a little more stable, I find. So we're going to grab this extension here. I'm going to go up to the top of the swivel. All right, so the other benefit of using these large linear tracks and why I like them is, if you look here, we get fluid. So we can bring fluid in and out of this. That's going to allow us to pump our slurry, which is required for drilling. If we don't have slurry, we cannot drill. I'm going to put the arrow so it's facing up, and that's going to go on there. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to merge the swivel to that. This is what's going to actually make the swivel go up and down. The swivel, we need some down pressure to be able to drill. If you look here, it has a fluid port on one side. Now what I'm going to do is put this one on top and press U. That will flip it left, right, and we'll paste it. Now, as you notice, I have a fluid port here and a fluid port here. So we're going to go ahead, we'll merge the blue to the green. Now this is going to be doubly strong. We have 2 of these. This makes sure the swivel moves a little bit more readily. And also now we can plumb in the slurry. So if we look here, we have fluid, fluid, and then on this we have fluid in, fluid out. Doesn't really matter which side fluid in, fluid out is. You just need to know because you're going to be plumbing this up later with pumps. This one is above, so we just need to make this up a little bit higher. So this will take the slurry and put it right on there. Beautiful. So now this is going to allow slurry to come in, go through there. The slurry is a lubricant for the drilling process. It goes down and lubricates the drill bit so it doesn't get too hot. It also will take the particles of dirt and dust and rock that the drill will be drilling, and it allows it to come out of the hole and be stored. All right, next thing we'll do is we'll grab another one of these track segments. And I'm just going to send it way up there. We don't need it all this high, but we're going to send it up there for now. Now, I don't want this swivel to go any lower than this. Remember, personally, I like to have 4 in there. And so what I'll do here is I will cut those. And now that is makes it so that when this is all the way at the bottom, it can't go any lower. This is going to help us with our alignment. This will align everything the way we want. All right, we'll turn symmetry back on, and we'll put up a couple stanchions here, just to kind of show that this is holding the section up here. All right, as you can see, so that's going to hold it. All right, and then we'll go ahead and we'll put a couple here just to make it look a little bit better. All right, nice. So that is all set up for our for the swivel. Next thing we need to do is we need a way to load in the drill bits. All right, and so there's a bunch of different ways to do this. I keep going back to this method. It just consistently works for me. So what I'm going to do is put a 4-hole in there like so. I'm going to grab a pivot. We're going to grab the robotic power pivot here. Doesn't really matter which direction it is. We'll flip it later if it's the wrong direction for us. All right. And so I'm just going to go up with some block. And I need to do a little bit of measuring here. So next part we're going to do is we type in oil. And we need this. This is the oil rig drill connector. And let's take a look at this. We're just going to slap it on here to take a look at it. So this is kind of a cool part. This here is a clamp. So this will clamp the drill bit in there. And then these are rollers. And the way that these drill segments work IRL is they're threaded. So one is the receiving end of the threads and the other is the actual threads themselves. And so these are rollers. And so what you do is you put one rod in the bottom, you put one rod coming down the top, and it would spin them. And so then they would thread together, and it's essentially just screwing them together. That's how we're going to be here. So what I want to do is I want to watch my alignment here. This needs to be within here. So if we look, when we push this swivel all the way down, the top of the drill head is going to be here. So I actually want to move this down 1. So we'll cut that, move that down 1 like so. All right, so what's going to happen is the bottom of the drill is going to end up here, and then the top of the drill is going to end up here. When the 2 drill segments are in there, it will send us a signal. If we look here, we get a signal for the connectors aligned. When the connectors are aligned, we can connect or disconnect the rods. And so we want to make sure this is aligned correctly. So as you can see, this is aligned correctly. Top of this drill will be here. And then the next rod will be right there. They can be screwed together. So beautiful. All right. So we also want this to move forward and back. So what we'll do here is we're going to measure from the shaft of the rotor here to where it can go. Now, if we look here, this is too wide. So as you can see, too wide right there. So we'll go ahead. We want 3, offset of 3 so that this can go and align there. So we'll cut it, and we'll go 1, 2, and then 3 as we measured. Beautiful. All right, so we can get rid of our measurement tool there. All right, nice. So I also want this to be able to slide in and out. So this is going to go to here, but I need it to slide in and out so that I can grab drill segments and that I can also push them in underneath the swivel, because I want to be able to suck this out so that it's not in the way. All right. Bunch of ways to do this, but the easiest way I find is some more of these linear tracks here. They're just easy peasy to work with. So we'll go ahead and we will use those. All right, so we're going to go grab one here. We'll grab this one. And so this is currently at its most interior position, and then we'll set up for its most exterior position. So line that up like so. That's pretty good right there. We'll paste that. We'll merge it to the shaft of that, and then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll put a block like that, And we'll merge that like that. So now this will be able to slide out. And as you can see, we want this to slide at least 2 blocks. So currently, when this swings, it will line up right here, right up against the swivel, and then we have 2 more blocks. So line up here, and then we need to go in 2. So what we'll do is we'll just grab 2 track segments like so, and we'll go 2. That will allow that to slide just a little bit. All right. And then next thing we need to do is I'm going to make a cassette of drill rods. Most of the holes that I've drilled are only about 60 meters down. Each of these drill rods is 10¼ meters. And so, 6 should be enough, but I'll probably usually put 8 in case something happens. We need an extra one or we get a deeper drill hole that we can actually use it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stack these up. Now, you'll notice this is 3 wide. So when we grab one of these drill rods, we need space on either side. And so we're going to have to put some space between these. And we'll move these in a second. So we need to put drill rod space, drill rod space. So they need to have a 1 gap in order for this to be able to grab them. And so we're just counting. That's 6. I'm going to put 8. That will just make sure that we have more than enough. All right, and I'm just going to put some block at the base of these so that these can be attached to one another, as you can see. All right, and we'll do the top so they don't look like they're floating. All right, nice. So those are attached. And we're going to grab this whole cassette. And we'll just grab from here to there. Nice. And we'll cut this. Now, what I want is I want the first rod to align with our grabber here. All right, so we're going to move it over, as you can see. So it's aligned right there. So the first one is aligned. And we need to get the distance correct. So what we want to do is let's go ahead and just paste that. And we're going to do a measurement again. So I want to see where does this fall. All right, so that is going to be 5. And then this can move a total of 2 blocks, so 7. So 7 off of here. So we want to measure 7. Bingo. So that's where we want this to sit to be able to be grabbed. So I'm just going to cut this, and we'll push it in 7. All right, and this will be where this cassette goes. Now I need to move it up a little bit so that we have a way to move it forward and backward. And so we'll move up 2 like so. And then this will be able to rotate and grab the cassette. So we'll paste that. Nice. So I'll be able to grab each of those drill segments. All right, now we need a way for this cassette to move. I'm going to use those linear track segments again. I like those. They're just easy to set up. And this will be all set there. All right, and we'll go ahead and I will merge these. So now that is merged. All right, I'm going to grab this. We'll copy one of these. And we'll move it over here. And we'll merge that as well. So now this will slide the cassette left and right so that once we take the first drill segment and plug it in, we'll move this over 1, put in the next drill segment. All right, so under here, what we need to do is we need to count the length of this. So this needs to move a total of 15 blocks. So we'll look over here. We'll measure 15. And right there. All right, perfect. So that's 15. So what we'll do is we'll cut. And we'll cut that. And now what we can do is we can figure out how many track segments we need. So we'll go ahead and we'll grab this track extension, stick it here, and we'll go all the way across. So this should be able to move the cassette so that we can align with each of the pipes. So very nice. Just for decorative element here, I'm just going to put up some wedges here to look like it's being held a little bit tighter, like so. Don't need it, but it's just for decoration. All right, so next for control, we need to do a microcontroller. So I have one called blank. We're just going to do blank microcontroller. And we'll start working. So we want to make a control station for this. And so let's actually start by making our panels. That will inform how many numbers we need, how many inputs, outputs. We'll get that all set up. So I'm going to start with some pipe. I'm not going to worry about decorating too much right now, but we're going to go up, and this is going to be my control station. You can make a little room for this or what. I'm just going to stand right here where I can visualize it. And we'll grab some panels, and we'll start banging in panels. This will make it easy to get this set up. All right, so panel, 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 and then we'll start to put in all the information that we actually need to run this place. So the first one is going to be the cassette, this cassette right here. It's going to move forward and back. So what we need here is I'm going to do, it's going to be an arrow button. It'll be up because that's showing us the relative motion of it. We'll do push 1. All right, now 3 is going to be the one under that, so that's going to be cassette left. All right, that's going to be an arrow button down. The next thing we have here is if we notice we have a slider velocity. This slider velocity is going to allow us to slide the rod up and down. Now, if we look, we want the orange part of this rod to be right about here. And so when we grab it, as you notice, the orange part's going to be way down here. And so what we need to do is use that slider to slide up and down. All right, so what we're going to do here is next we're going to add another up down. So this here is going to be slider up, arrow button up, push. That's going to be 2. We're going to do slider down. All right, that's going to be an arrow button down, push, and that's going to be 4. All right, good. So this is going to do slide the cassette left and right. This is going to slide the rod up and down in there. All right, next thing we need to do here is we need to have a connection and we need to have coupling. So one actually clamps the rod and one will actually connect the two rods together. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put those in. So this came up to 4, so the next one's going to be 5. All right, this is going to be clamp rod. This is going to be a button. It's going to be a toggle. All right. After that, what we want to do is we're going to go to 3 again here. So we'll just number them out. So it's 5. This one will be 6 for the next one. And then right underneath that, this is going to be 7. All right, so we're on 7 here. This is going to be connect rods. All right, connect the rods. So this will actually connect the two rods together. All right, now next to, and we'll do a button there, that will be toggle as well. So next to clamp rod, what we're going to do is rod clamp. This is going to be an indicator. So indicator light on there. We're going to do rods aligned. All right, now what this is going to show us is when the rods are in the correct position that they can be clamped. All right, so this light will go off and it will say, hey, you can now connect the rods, they're aligned. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to set up a system to rotate this and then slide it in and out. All right, so we'll go set that up. So one, we want to rotate it. So this is going to be rotate left. All right, that's going to be push 9. Next, we're going to want to do rotate right. That's going to be an arrow button again, going to the right. That's a push, that's going to be 10. All right, this next one here is going to be clamp out. That'll be arrow button pointing up, push. That's going to be 11. We'll copy clamp out, make that clamp in. That'll be an arrow button down. That's going to be push. That'll be 12. So this should allow us to do all the motions on both the cassette and the crane. So this segment of the panel will take care of all the stuff on the right, the stuff on the left rather. The stuff on the right will take care of all the stuff on the right. So what we want is when the rod is clamped, I'm going to put in amber. When the rods are aligned, they will be green. So it will tell us that it is green. It is good to go to connect them. And this will just tell us the rod is clamped. So I want to break up the silhouette here. I don't want to keep doing buttons because it's going to be confusing. So what I want to do is something to demarcate between what is the cassette and the crane and what is the stuff on the right here. And so what we're going to have here is we're going to have some slurry tanks. We need slurry to be able to drill. And this is slurry tank, clean slurry. All right, this is going to be a gauge, vertical, and we'll figure out the capacity of that later. So we're currently up to 12, 13. This will be 14. We'll skip one, and then this one will be dirty slurry. We're not going to bother cleaning our slurry. We're just going to have big tanks, and then we should be able to hit oil by the time that we run out of slurry, okay? And it's actually not the end of the world if you run out of slurry early. You can actually just despawn the rig, respawn the rig, and now you have new slurry. So we're going to do another one here, dirty slurry vertical, and we'll put a number in there. So we're currently on 15. And we'll do the final number on this panel, which is going to be 16. So that just breaks it up so we know that after the slurry gauges, we start to have stuff over here is going to be stuff to our right. Okay, swivel up. We're going to do an arrow button going up. It's going to be a toggle because we have a long run here, so we'll just do a toggle. If it was a short run, I'd do a push. If it's a long run, I want to toggle. And then here on this last one here, it's going to be swivel down. That's going to be a arrow button down. That's going to be a toggle as well. All right, swivel clamp. So 17, 18, 19, and this will be 20. All right, good. So those are all done. So next thing we want here is we want swivel clamp. That's going to be a button. That's going to be a toggle button. So that will actually attach it to the swivel itself. All right, this is activating the drill. It's going to be a flip switch. All right, so we activate the drill there. This is going to both turn on the drill, and it is also going to start the slurry to pump. When we shut this off, it's going to stop the drill, stop the slurry from pumping. All right, so underneath this swivel clamp here, if we look up at the swivel, as you can see, it will say rod is clamped. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put that on there. And so we will go ahead and on 3, we'll do swivel clamped. And this is going to be an indicator light. Next one I want to put here is going to be table clamp. All right, we're going to put another button. It's going to be a toggle button. This will actually attach us to the table right here. All right, so that should be a good start. So let's go ahead and start hooking these up. So we'll go to logic. We'll go to the composite. This one I'm putting nothing on the end so far. We may or may not use that one. So we'll go signal to here. We'll daisy chain these along. All right, and now let's start working on our microcontroller. So I just put a blank microcontroller down. Let's enter that in. So this would be the oil drilling tutorial. All right, good. So let's start adding this up. So we're going to need quite a few nodes here. So we'll start with a pretty big. I'm going to add the composite node. So there's going to be composite input panels. And there's going to be a composite output to the panels. So this will read out any information we need. So we're going to start from point to point to point. We'll add a node here. So the first thing we need is this can be for the cassette. Up, down. Okay. And we'll add another one here. This is going to be cassette up. And these are going to be outputs. So next one is going to be a number output. This is going to be rod up / down. After that, we need to then clamp rod, output connect rod. So we'll add a node here. Rotation is just going to be a number output. So this would be rotation. Then we're going to add a node here. This is going to be crane out, and this will be crane rotation. All right, good. Now it's going to be crane in, and these are both outputs there. And we'll add a level. All right, so next thing is going to be swivel clamp. So output, swivel clamp. All right, this will be an output. This will be swivel up for swivel down, output. So for this, when we start the drills, we're going to need a couple things. So we're going to need to start the pumps. So this will be pumps. We'll put slurry pumps. So slurry pumps are right there. And then we also need to send a number to, we're going to use an electric motor. So that'll be an output. All right, so that's going to be our electric motor there. And we're going to need to add an extra level anyway, so we'll go ahead and do that. This will be logic output, table clamp. We're going to have to add a bunch of inputs. So this will be input swivel clamped. We'll actually start with crane clamp. All right, that's going to be an input. We're going to have to do rods aligned. That's going to be an input. Swivel clamped. Table clamped. And as we connect this up and do the logic, we can add any that we need. But it's going to be a pretty big microcontroller, as you can see. All right, so we don't need this panel right now. I'm just going to get rid of it to cut confusion, and we'll put some pipe there. Kind of dress this up a little bit, but again, I'm not going to do too much decorating. It's mostly just to learn the mechanics of how to set this up, and then you can use this as your basis. It'll be on the workshop. All right, so we're going to go composite is going to go in. This is going to go out to there. That's our daisy chain, so the info will pass through. Let's start hooking everything up. So we want to hook up the crane in. So this is going to be on the, if we look at it, as you can see, that's going to be the negative. That's down. So in is down. So crane in is down. Crane out is going to be up. All right. Connect rods is going to be right here. So that's the connect disconnect. The clamp rod is going to right there. The cassette down is going to be down. And we need two of them, so down. And then we have cassette up is up, up. We have swivel clamp. So the swivel clamp is right there. We have table clamp is right there. We have the swivel up is going to be up, up. So up and up. We have the swivel down, which is going to be down. We need to make sure we do both of those. We have slurry pumps. We're not there yet, so we'll do that in a second. Motor we don't have yet. Crane out. Crane rotation is going to go there. We have rods up and down. Goes here to the slider velocity. That slider will move the rods up and down. All right, what are we missing here? We have crane clamped. So here's the crane. If we're clamped, it will show us there. We have rods aligned. That goes to here. Connector aligned. We have swivel clamped. That goes to right here. Rod clamped. We have table clamped. That one is, we actually don't have that. So that's not going to show us that the table's clamped. We can actually get rid of that. So table clamp can go bye-bye. All right, good. So that is mostly connected. Let's see if we're missing anything. We are. So let's actually build the stuff we need. So we need a motor. Now, when you build on these bases, so this is a base workbench. You can buy these islands. You could build something like a little house to live in. Any of these type of bases you're building, they will have infinite electricity as long as you have a battery. All right, and so keep that in mind. So if you use electrical stuff, it's essentially free electricity. All right, so we're going to put a pipe here. We're going to do, because we have free electricity, and it's going to be easy for us to do here, we're going to go ahead and we'll type in motor, and we're going to put a large electric motor. This is going to give us a good amount of torque. It's going to be easy to run and not hard to set up. So actually make this too big. So we're just going to connect the RPS directly to that motor. Very simple here. And we're going to take the motor and we're going to connect it directly to there, like so. Next thing I need is slurry pumps. All right, so slurry pumps. So I need to build some slurry tanks. And like I said, I'm not going to bother cleaning the slurry. We don't really need to. It's kind of a, not necessarily a waste, but we don't need to expend the time. So I'm just going to start to build a base for my tanks here, and we'll do it with symmetry on. That way I know right where to put this. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to put a block. We'll just build some tanks really fast here. All right, so there's a couple towers. And we're going to go ahead and we'll seal these off. One will be for our clean slurry, one will be for our empty slurry. And so what's going to dictate that is I'm going to quickly cut right here. If we look, this should be fluid in. It doesn't really matter, but you just have to know which side is in, which is out. So this is fluid in right here. Okay, good. So it's going to be our in. So we're going to shut symmetry off because these are going to be a little different now. We're going to take a spawner. And the inside is going to have our slurry, our nice clean slurry. So we'll click on the spawner and we'll go to slurry. Make sure it's slurry. We're going to fill this tank up with slurry. Now, with the new pressurization update, which I think was overall a good thing, we're going to need to add some air relief. So I'm actually going to do overkill here on air relief. So I'm going to add 5, and we're going to do fluid for fluid ports. And especially when we pump in the dirty slurry, the air has to go somewhere. It's going to crush. And as the air comes out of here, we need to draw, as the liquid comes out of this one, we need to draw in fresh air. All right, so there's 5. I'm just doing overkill here. We're going to type in gas. And we'll do a gas relief valve. All right, and then I'm going to type in fluid. Way overkill here with 5 of them, but this will just help to make sure everything's running nicely. All right, so that is going to allow the air to transfer in and out. This one will fill with slurry. This one will not. That one, this one will have clean slurry. This one will end up being dirty. So what we're going to do here is I'll pipe, shut symmetry off again as these are asymmetrical. All right, and we'll drag these out there. So this is going to pump our slurry. So we're going to go ahead and set these up. Now I only want liquid in the system. So what we're going to do here is add fluid ports right there. All right, and that will go ahead. And next thing I want to do is do a liquid. This is going to keep this pipe full of liquid. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add some pumps here. So we'll do 1 goes in, 1 goes out. So pump. This one here is the inlet pump. This one here is the outlet pump right there. So they go like that. All right. All right, so now with the new pressure mechanics, we do have to worry about gas getting stuck in here. Hopefully we're good. I think we are. We have plenty of relief on top. If we're not, we can always tweak the system and get more gas relief in there. So let's go ahead, and we should have some nodes to connect now. So right here we have the slurry pumps that will hook to the pumps right there. All right, let's make sure everything's plumbed correctly. So we have a fluid port. We have a fluid port here. We have a bunch of fluid ports on the ceiling, which is going to let air in and out. This is going to pour the dirty slurry into this tank. This is going to take the clean slurry and put it into the drill head here. We get infinite electricity, but we need a battery. So we're going to go battery here. And it needs to be on the grid. So we're just going to stick it right here. I'm also going to add a keep active. Now, the reason I do this is this will allow us to run this. It's more important with the pumping station, but this will allow this to run if we're somewhere else. So that's important as well. So let's go ahead and hook up electricity. All right, so we'll hook up the 2 cassettes. I'm just going to hook everything together. See, it's infinite electricity. I don't need complicated system connections. All right, anything up top? Nope. And then this goes down to the motor. and then the battery. All right, so now that everything is connected electricity-wise, we need to start working on the logic. So we have quite a bit of logic. So one tip I like to do is get in nice and close on the panel here, and I'll take a little screenshot of it. I can put that on my other monitor, and then I will know the numbers. So let's go ahead, and we need to organize all this logic here. So we have quite a bit. So what I like to do is when I have a ton of stuff here, especially, I'll do a text. So take a property text and stick that here. I call it spawn. This just tells me where these spawn. You'll see a lot of people, they'll leave their spawn area in the middle of all their logic. It's a pain. So the best thing to do is put a spawn area and then grab all your nodes and move them away. That way, when we spawn in a new node, it'll be up there. All right, we're going to organize this. So we have a bunch to organize here. So all the ins are going to go on one side, all the outs on the other. This makes it a lot easier to work with. All right, and there we go. So we have a couple ins here and a lot of outs. All right, good. So let's start. So we're going to start in the same kind of direction that we were last time. So let's move this down just a hair. All right, so first thing we're going to do is the cassette. So cassette is 1 and 2. So 1 and 2. So we'll set those up, make sure this is 2. Beautiful. All right, so this is going to be the cassette. The cassette is just a simple up-down. So here's cassette down, 1 right there, very simple. Here's cassette up, there, very simple. Nice, that's pretty simple there. Really easy. Okay, good. The next two are going to be the rod going up and down in the crane. So what we're going to do is we'll copy that, Control-CV. This is going to be, so this is actually 1 and 3. I screwed that up already. This is going to be 2 and 4. All right, so 2 and 4 is sliding the rod up and down. So we'll connect that to the panels. And then we'll do that. So we have slide rod up and down. I'm just going to do an up down. 0.1 is the increment. And then maximum's going to be, minimum's going to be negative 0.1. Maximum's going to be 0.1. And we can actually, you know what? Let's just make that 1. It will clamp out there. That's fine. All right. So what we're going to do is that's going to be up. That's going to be down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab a Boolean. And we'll stick that right here. So we'll plug in these two there. And what we'll do is that's in the X and the Y. So if it's not, so not is the exclamation point. If you go to operators, that's not. And then we're going to do parentheses, X. If we go back to operators, that's or Y. And so what this is going to do, if we're not pressing any of these buttons, it's going to stop it because it's the velocity slider. So we're going to go there. That connects up to the up-down on the rod. So very nice, simple. That is now done. All right, so next thing we need to do here is, so next one we want is 5 and 7. All right, 5 and 7. So there's 5, and there is 7. All right, good. So this gets connected as well. All right, so 5 is going to be, this is rod clamp, and this is connect rod. So these two are the ones we want there. So that's going to set that up for us. So all set there. And then what we need is, I'll fill out the, let's just do it now. So what we're going to do is going to write the on-off. And so we'll do 2 of these. So if this is 5 and 7, that's going to be 6 and 8. 6 and 8. 6 and 8. So we need 2 of them, 3 of them rather. So 6 to 8. And so if the rods are clamped, that's going to go off this one. If the rods are aligned, that's going to light up this one. All right, so we need to set up the swivel left, right, in and out. So we have these, which is up to 8. So we need 9 and 10. So that's going to be 9 and 10. Hook these up to the panels right there, 9 and 10. All right, good. So for 9 and 10, what we need to do is the crane rotation. All right. And so pretty simple here. What we're going to do is an up-down counter. We're going to make the increment 0.001. You can change it faster. You can make it a bigger number. You want a slower, smaller number. So it's going to be -1 to 1. All right. If we press on 9, it's going to go left. If we press on 10, it's going to go right. Pretty simple. Crane rotation is done. Next, we need in and out. In and out is an up-down. So it's going to be 11 and 12. So we'll copy that. 11 and 12. All right, we'll plug those into the panels. All right, and then this is going to be crane in and out. So it'll be crane out and in. All right, good. So those are all set up there. Change the microcontroller up a little bit. We'll increase the width. And we need to add 2 nodes. So we need to add So we'll add a number input. This is going to be clean slurry, and this is going to be dirty slurry. All right, clean and dirty slurry, those are both number inputs. All right, we'll come in here. Those are going to be our next thing to do, so they should be up at our spawn. You see how it's nice and convenient? They're not mixed in with our stuff here. All right, so it's going to be clean, dirty. All right, and these are going to write out as well, so we'll put them over here. So we're going to do a write number. So right here, write number. All right, so it's 13 is our starting one. We're going to do 3 because it's 13, 15. So 13, 15. And those go like this. This can go right attached like so. All right, so 14, 16. 14, 16, swivel up and down. We'll hook that up to the panels here. Just drag this down so it's easier to connect. All right, swivel up and down in that order. Pretty simple. There. So 17, 18. So 17, 18. And that's going to be swivel clamp, activate drill. So swivel clamp. All right, activate drill is going to be a couple things. So for activate drill, we're going to turn on the slurry pumps. All right. And we could do it slowly, or we can just do an on switch. So I'm going to do it slowly. I kind of like that. So let's do 0.01. We'll do 001 is fine. 0.001. This is going to slowly start the table up. Enabled 0 to 1. We get a max speed of 1 on the motor. So if I click 18, it's going to increase the number. And then I'm going to just do a not. If I shut it off, it's going to slowly stop it. So pretty simple there. And then we're going to take the motor. The motor is going to connect right in there. So that's going to be our drill on there. We need to do another on-off right. So 19 is going to be that if the swivel is clamped. So we'll do one channel, 19. So this is if the swivel is clamped. And that should be this one right here. All right, swivel clamp, that's this one. This will connect right there. Bingo, that's done. All right, so 20, table clamp. And we'll find that here. That should be one of the last ones there. 20 is table clamp. All right, so we're pretty well set here. So the last thing we need to do is we need to do all of our write outs. So these are all going to be our writes. That's going to go right there. Plug in there. And we are pretty much all set here. So I think we're in good shape. So we'll go do that. Bingo, line that up. All right, good. So we'll update this. This should hopefully be all set. The electricity is all connected. All the nodes are connected except the slurries, reads. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch a couple in here. What I like to do is keep these low so that if I want to just run over here, I can check them. So we'll go do that. We'll do liquid, LIQ for liquid. And we'll just put these in here. That way I can just come over here, do page up. What I'll also do here is I'll do gas. That way I can read the gas in here without having to go up on the roof. All right, so that will be those two there. And then we're going to go ahead and plug this one in here. This was our liquid level. This is our dirty slurry. This is our liquid level for our clean slurry. Check, no more electricity there. We'll save, and we'll spawn. All right, hopefully we're good to go now. So slider works. That was our last thing. Next thing we need, clamp rod. Let's check it. So we'll read it. Clamp rod is true. Beautiful. Connect rods. Connect rods should now be true as well. Connect rods is true. Beautiful. All right, now we need to rotate left, right. All right, a little bit slow for me. I'd like to speed it up a little bit. And it's backwards, so we'll fix that. So a little bit slow and backwards. All right, so right here we have our rotation, crane rotation. So let's go about 10 times faster. So we'll go like that. That will make it faster. And then what we'll do here is I will grab this. We'll cut it. And now I want to have the fill on the other side. So O, and we'll clamp it, or paste it rather. And I'm just going to color this too, so it's floor color. Let's merge. That got merged. Okay, good. So let's change the paint on this. This is not necessary, but we'll change the paint on that. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and let's check this. That needs to be merged back up, and we should be good there. So let's give that a test. All right, so it should be faster now. It is. Beautiful. All right, so now that's good. That's aligned. What we want to do is now do clamp rod, and we want to push this out. Now it's clamped. I'm going to pull it in. All right, now I want to rotate it. Now you'll notice there is some things with the slider. Sometimes when you start to slide, the slider's backwards. We can fix that. The slider will stop. So we'll see if I can get it to do it. Still working. Sometimes it gets hung up. What you want to do is rotate your crane if it gets hung up. So we're going to move that. We're going to slide it into position. So it's currently slid into position. Let's push the swivel all the way up. And so we want the swivel to go all the way up, and we want it to clear the top of that rod. All right. So that's good enough. It's clear. We can stop it if we wanted. Let's go ahead and rotate it, and we'll put it in position. So we want to extend this out. All right. Now what we want to do is we want to clamp the swivel and go down. I'm going to put some colors on these as well. All right. That's going to push it in, and it will eventually hit the bottom and stop. All right, it stopped. So we could do this earlier. Let's disconnect this rod. You notice we got the clamp. Let's go ahead. We'll pull it in, and we'll rotate it. So I actually need to move this cassette one further away. We'll do that as well. All right, so now that is all set there on top. We'll do a quick test drill, and then we'll make some of these edits. All right, so now this rod is in here. We're all set to drill. You see, we have 21,000 liters of clean slurry. We have no dirty slurry. Swivel is currently pushing down. I will color these up so you can see them. Swivel clamp is clamped. You're not going to be able to see it, but it is on. This needs a light as well. We're going to activate the drill, and we're going to do the table clamp. Table clamp needs to be connected to actually drill. There we go. You can hear the pumps going, and now it is drilling. You can hear like a rock crushing sound. That is your sound to tell you that this is working. As you can see, we're pumping the fluid out. We're pumping fluid in. If we stop the, I have the system connected, so we can't just stop the pumps. But if we were not pumping slurry or we run out of slurry, as you can see, we're using it, it will stop drilling. Now, if the swivel is all the way up the top, sometimes it will drill a little bit slower because this slurry has to go all the way in here and up to there and then back into here. So it'll take a little time. Once we're at the bottom here, we can shut the drill off. We leave the table clamped. We want to disconnect the swivel and send the swivel up. Now what we can do is we can let's make sure we move that in. Let's go ahead and we'll move our cassette to the next one. We'll go ahead, we'll clamp the rod, and we'll push it out. It is now grabbed. We'll bring it in. I'm going to push this up, which I have it backwards to start with, and we'll rotate it. We'll see if we can get that rod to stick. Okay, good, perfect. The rod is stuck. I'm still pushing. You can see the orange. It's still pushing. All you have to do a quick rotation. It gets phantom forces around the other rod, so just move it around like this, and you see it will go up. All right, nice. So we're going to rotate it. We'll extend it. All right, now that is currently touching. Let's go up a little bit. All right, there we go. See if we can get them to attach. See the rod's aligned? We get a rod alignment indicator on there. Once the rod alignment indicator is on there, we look in here. Let's actually look in there. You can see the two of them are aligned. So what you want to do is you want to click Connect Rods. Now they are connected. You want to click Disconnect this one, and you want to pull it back out like so. Now the swivel can come down and can clamp. All right, we want to start drilling. That's going to start going. I'm going to go and I'm going to rotate the crane arm, and we'll push the cassette over here. So cassette comes, we'll select it, we'll push it out, bring it in. We'll start to bring the rod up into alignment. So we want to get it up even higher than it was last time. Again, see it gets stuck, just jiggle it. This happens on these. It's a bunch of phantom forces. These are moving. Not a big deal. Just kind of give it a little jiggle. Right there is good. And as you can see, we're ready for the next one. So if you wanted to swing it into place, you could. I tend not to, and the reason is this. There's an attractive force which is helpful in game. The rods want to try to go in the middle. They'll also try to rotate when they get inside of this area. So what I do is I just wait, and I leave it kind of 90 degrees here. We're all set to go. You can get ahead if you want. You can go ahead and slide the cassette to the next line. One thing we'll do is this cassette needs to be pushed back one so that it doesn't push on the crane as much. And the other thing we can do is we can set some little dots on here to align the cassette correctly. So we can put a little indicator that will show us when it's aligned. So that'll be kind of fun and neat to do. So you notice it's drilling a little bit slower, and again, that's what I said, is the pumping's a little bit, it has to pump up higher. All right, good 6 liters per second. If you do not put enough air relief on top, you're going to run into a situation where you start having too much pressure in here, and the pump cannot overcome it. So that's why we have a ton of those on there. If we look at the gas meter right here, as you can see, we have we're pushing some gas in and out of there, and it is leaving. As you notice, the gas level is going down. That's because the liquid is filling this, and the gas is going out. So, you know, think of it as marbles. The gas is full of marbles. The liquid is full of marbles. As more marbles come in, some of the marbles have to go out. All right, so we're almost there again. This is the nice thing of having this aligned properly, is because we don't have any more track segments there, I don't have to worry about alignment. This is going to align properly every time. All right, bingo, that's all set. We're going to shut it off. We're going to go ahead and disconnect the swivel, send it up. All right, and we're going to go ahead. We'll start to rotate this in. I had that pushed out too far, so that was my issue. Let's push it out. All right, and we want to get these to give us an alignment light. Once the alignment light is good, there we go. All right, those are connected. We're good. All right, now we're going to go down with the swivel. So swivel clamp down. All right, we'll start drilling. All right, just went ahead and I fast forwarded us here to the last rod. And there she blows. So this is what it's going to look like if you hit oil. As you can see, we get a nice big plume of oil. So this is what it looks like. So this is the new way. This came out pretty quickly after the oil update, but this oil will spurt out like so, telling you that you've hit oil. And so what I'm going to do is just keep drilling down. As you see, it's just a visual way to tell you've hit it. We used to have to pump for it to tell. We don't have to anymore. So what I'm going to do is for my next system, this drilling rig is going to be despawned. And so we're going to then put in place a pumping rig. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to drill this down all the way to the base. Now, when we started this, I was showing how I like to build 4 blocks off of the table. And so when we do the pumping station, it's going to be 4 blocks off the table. And so by having it a consistent distance, it makes it really easy to do this. So we want to make sure I'm going to push this rod all the way down to the base. That will give me 4 blocks. And then so when we build in the next episode the actual pumping and refining station, that is going to be already aligned, and we're going to be good to go. All right, so nice. So we're there. So this is what I highly recommend here. We'll stop drilling. Okay. Save. All right, anytime you're disconnecting your equipment, do a save. And the reason is, if the way the game works is so say, for example, let's say that I had this pipe already in my crane. When I despawn this, I don't want the pipe to stay in the world. So I think that's why the devs did this, is if you left this pipe in the crane here, what it does is it despawns anything that's attached. So if you have your pipe attached to the swivel, the table, your crane, those disappear when you despawn it. So that's a good thing, because I want to be able to despawn this drilling rig and not have all these pipes sitting on the ground. The downside is if you forget to disconnect the pipe from the table or the swivel, what's going to happen is when you despawn the rig, the pipe is going to despawn. And so we need the pipe in order to use it as a straw to suck the oil out. So what we want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and shut the swivel clamp off. We'll just send it up, get rid of it. And what we're going to do is we want to make sure we shut off the table clamp. Now, as you notice, the pipe is sitting in the hole. All right, so that's where we want it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to despawn this. All right, now, if I respawn it, the pipe is still there. You see the pipe? Still there. All right, we're going to despawn it, spawn it. Pipe is still there. We're going to despawn it, and we're going to exit. Pipe is still there. All right. So what this allows me to do is I can then put on my pumping station. Okay. So that allows you to have it. If the pipe is connected, it's going to despawn. So keep that in mind. All right. So let's make a couple edits to this that we need to do. So first thing I want to do here is I'm going to grab my track segment, and I need to move this back 1 block. Next episode, like I said, is going to be all about, we'll get involved with actually starting the pumping and refining process. So I'll show you a very fast way to pump your oil. You're gonna outrun your refining anyways, but it's a nice fast way to pump. Some people are liking to, you can follow the regular pumping tutorial for that if you want to just pump. But this next tutorial will show you how to pump and refine. A bunch of people have been having a lot of problems with refining post pressure. I've done a bunch of testing. I have a system that works really well. It is intuitive, but a lot of people are not thinking of the minutia of pressure and how it may affect that. They're also not really thinking about temperature transfer. So we'll go through all that. We'll go through some of the theory, why it does actually make sense in real life. And I did a bunch of testing with this on live stream. It is working. It is working really well. I'm able to refine and pump post pressure. So we'll move this. That will allow us to extend the crane fully now. So that was just one little error we needed to fix. Let's go ahead and we'll do some coloring here. So we'll do some additive paint. This is going to be on the workshop. That's why I want to kind of get through this and get this all colored up. So that's going to be clamped there. Go ahead and just color up these gauges here so you can see them at night. We need to color a bunch of buttons here. So this will be all right, and then we want to do these two there. These need to be flipped here. These two I want colored as well, and then these two need to be flipped here. So that is going to be 2 and 4. So 2 and 4 need to be flipped. So go in there, and that should fix this so they can go on the workshop. So this is going to be 4. This is going to be 2. All right, so that is pretty good there. All right, so this will be what's on the workshop. So I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to show you kind of the method. I'll show you one of my pumping stations, and then in the next video, we're actually going to make the pumping station. So we'll save this. This tutorial right here will be on the workshop. You can go ahead and download and use this. It's a simple system that allows you to drill into the hole. And so now what we can do is if we grab one of my refining, so this is the new pump jack I've been working on. This is what the tutorial will be based on. This was tested. This works. Now if we spawn this, you'll notice the pipe stayed. And so what we'll do now is this goes in the world. And so this is a very fast pumping mechanism on it. I need infinite electricity for this yet. I haven't hooked it up yet, but we'll hook it. As you can see, very fast pump. You can see the rate at which we'll be pumping at. This will allow you to fraction. This fractioning tower is working and working very well with only one electric furnace. Just need the one. And then it will fraction off diesel and jet fuel. So tune in for the next episode where we'll be building this refining station. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.